Hello, brethren, ladies, and friends, and welcome to Three Knocks at the Door at Natoma 64, a podcast dedicated to Natoma Lodge 64, located in Folsom, California, Masonic education, Masonic events, and other Masonic bodies in the greater Folsom area. Your hosts are Brother Jeff Joe and Worshipful Brother Noel Lucas. If you'd like to share ideas or have feedback for us, or would like to join our mailing list, please feel free to email us at 3katd64@gmail.com. Today we welcome one of our newest members to our lodge, Brother Curtis Madrid. We will keep in mind that our conversations will not violate our obligations, and that our opinions in no way reflect any views taken by our lodge or Grand Lodge. We hope you enjoyed the show. All right, here we go. Welcome, brethren, ladies, and friends, to Three Knocks at the Door. I'm Brother Jeff Joe, Natoma Lodge 64, and we got Worshipful Brother Noel Lucas. And like the intro says, we got our one of our newest brothers, Brother Curtis Madrid. So we'll start with Worshipful Brother Lucas. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. It's going to be a fun little episode here because, like I said, we got one of our newest brothers to join us. And so we're going to get a chance to kind of pick his brain and, and then we'll have some event updates at the end of this before we conclude. All right.
Right, Worshipful, thank you, Worshipful. And Brother Curtis, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name's Curtis. I'm one of the newest members of Natoma 64. I'm 25 years old, so I'm pretty young. Kind of just trying to, build my life up.
All
You guys
right.
want
So
to...
you notice, you're 25 years old, right, Curtis? So you came into the lodge. I'm sure you noticed there was an age spectrum, pretty wide range. What were some of your first thoughts when you showed up to the lodge?
At first, I was thinking, am I in the right place? It's like, would I fit in here well? And I kind of just went with it after that. I do feel pretty belonging, honestly.
That's good. Let's go
I
back
did.
a little bit though.
Yeah.
So, who were you talking to? Who brought you to the lodge? Who
It was the late worshipful Harvey.
right? So
It was the late worshipful Harvey Holcomb. I spoke with him first. He
how'd
brought
you
me
guys?
to me. He was a regular customer. I used to work at the KP Market in the deli, and I served him like nearly every morning, every time I worked. And I don't really remember how the conversation came up, but I started, talking with him about Freemasonry, and I was interested a little bit. And then he invited me out to, Natoma 64, and so I showed up about last year in October sometime. I remember.
Do you recall offhand? Did you notice something? Was he wearing a
I think
ring, a
it's
hat,
ring.
shirt, ring?
I think it was his ring. I was like, "What is that?" And he kind of didn't explain it, but mentioned what it was. And then I went home and did my own research on it. And then the next time he came back, I was like, it's actually really cool.
So you don't have a family history of masonry, right?
None. No one in my family really knew what it was, to be honest. I got really curious and did lots of research into it and about what it was, and it felt like something I honestly need in life.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Awesome.
all of us have our different, journeys and our different reasons and things like that, right? And but that's kind of what this podcast is about: is to see the different stories and
Mhm.
open the doors to other people, right? Because, like I said, we have a range of brothers from, I think, from one of our youngest is what 20, all the way up to we have a brother that's almost about to turn 100 years old. So,
Wow.
yep. And so you can see we have the spectrum. So you came. What was your first? Was it a dinner you came to
It
first?
was a dinner.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was no special event that one. It was just a standard dinner, right? Just one of our regular stated.
Think it was regular. It was like early October of last 2024. That was the first dinner I went to.
So without going into too much details, I mean, how was the journey before you got initiated? What were your thoughts before your initiation?
Like before the actual initiation itself.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Going through the process, you asked us, you came to see us. There was
It was
you voted.
voted
Before
me in.
before that, you were sitting there waiting, right? Waiting to hear back from us.
Yeah. I filled out, the application. I went through about 3 interviews. I was a little nervous because I was like, I'm making a pretty big decision. It's gonna,
Mhm.
probably change the trajectory of my life for the better, obviously. So, any big change is nervous, in life, especially when you're making like decisions. It's like, what would happen if I go with this or if I didn't do this? Usually, different outcomes. And hopefully you don't want to go for the best outcome. So
Out of curiosity, when you were doing the research, what kind of research what were you looking up? Like, what did you find?
I mostly went to Freemasonry, like .org, and actual, like, what's it called? I mean, there's obviously, kind of finicky articles out there. I ignored those. I didn't, yeah, no, I didn't believe them.
Awesome. Okay, so you kind of went like through the Grand Lodge and like those kind of
Yes.
websites. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome. And
Freemason's
then
not a great resource for anybody, right? I mean, us as Masons, anybody interested in looking in. So always, there's a lot of things can be found out about that, and like you said, there's a lot of things can be found on the web too. You gotta be able to decipher what information is legitimate and what's just out there. So
yeah, there's quite a bit out there that is way out there.
Yeah, I came across it. I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. And it was after I went to the first dinner too. I was like, I don't believe any of this. Some ridiculous
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, we get the whole secret society thing quite a lot, right? And what we try to clarify is that we're not a secret society. We're just a society that has secrets. Nothing wrong with that.
I was recently at work, and one of the guys I happened to tell one of the guys at work that I was a Mason. He's like, "Oh, you're one of those guys," and I was like, "Whoa, hold on, dude." It's like, wait, what are you thinking here?
No,
And
I know. It's like, oh no. That's-
so it was kind of funny, and I was just like, it's not what you think, dude. You're not
So
high enough.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
That's
not
the other
high
thing.
enough. Read that
That's
too in my comments. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, what do you know then? Like,
yeah. We're gonna dismiss the people that are actually involved because they're not high enough, but we're gonna believe everything else that's on the internet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So you got your initiation, right? Night comes, you get all ready. Don't really know what to expect. Uh, Hopefully, a little bit of mixture of excitement and curiosity, like you
No, I
said.
was excited, very curious. I was like, wow, I'm actually going through with this. It's a big decision. The initiation, I wasn't really sure what to expect though. I mean, I didn't know anything to be honest, so I
Yeah,
kept myself in the dark on that on purpose.
yeah, yeah,
It makes it more.
Nice.
understood. Well, and that's the thing, right? And we tell all candidates, all prospects, all potential people that might be wanting to get involved is you can go online, you can research everything, and but all it does is really ruins your journey and takes away your experience. That's why I tell people, go dig around like you did. Freemason.org is a great little site, right? You can get some information, find out what we're about, um, but try not to go too deep into it because you're just going to ruin the journey.
Hmm.
And half of it's to bring enlightenment to yourself through proper information, the proper channels, not trying to decipher, oh, was this actually true? Was this, So,
A great resource for that was Freemasons for Dummies.
mhm.
I mean, it sounds like it sounds kind of the book just sounds. I mean, Freemasons for Dummies. The title itself just it sounds kind of ridiculous, but he even says in there, he says, "Look, if you're not a Mason and you're thinking about becoming a Mason, skip the next however many chapters or skip the next pages because it goes into the ritual." He's like, "You don't want to read this because it's going to ruin it for you." But he
It's
does
funny
go
you
into
said that
the
because I have the
he,
book, but I never opened it.
it's
I
it's
bought it. It's
it
like,
it's great, and it goes into the history. It's amazing. I think it's what his name is Chris Hodap. Uh, Amazing author. I went to a speech. He gave a talk that I went to just before I became a Mason, and he's great resource. So I would highly recommend reading it. It's a very interesting book.
I remember buying it, and I was like, I'm gonna actually hold off completely. I don't know why I bought this. It was just sitting on my bookshelf, just kind of sitting there collecting dust.
It's all right. You're on your journey now. You can still go back. You still read, and you can just kind of you're being an entered apprentice. You can kind of just focus on the entered apprentice side, and
Yeah.
once you become a fellowcraft, you can kind of gear over to the fellowcraft side. Just use it as a little stepping stone, right? That's
The
half of
little
what all
guides.
just stepping stones to teaching you how to be better person and better at life and better to the community, right? So, all right. So you got through your initiation. and now you're going through your trainings, your practices, and how's that journey going?
It's going great. It's just, I tend to get really busy. I'm kind of at an awkward stage in my life right now. I think I've talked with Brother Jeff about this too. Like, I'm sorry, something came up. It's like I'm not trying to put anything off. It's just, I'm really trying to get my life together as well. So
Well,
balancing
what is?
everything. I'm sorry, what? No,
No,
you're
I was
good.
gonna
You're good.
say the standard answer. Like when you tell people that, like, I mean, is anybody making you feel guilty? Are they harping on you? Or
No, oh, nobody at all. I feel bad. I just
oh,
genuinely feel bad.
no, I understand that feeling too, right? Because you dedicated to something. But what I wanted to point out is what I love about it is it's your journey, your time, your pace, and that's
Mhm.
what I tell a lot of brothers, right? Like, you know, I have to share stories about Larry and I because we came through the degrees together. We had a lot of questions, and we didn't really learn the lessons of patience right away. So we ran through the degrees really quick. Um, Pros and cons to that is you don't fully absorb the information, right? Yeah, you're open and up and allowing you to go to other appellate bodies and other trainings and other things like that, but you kind of miss a few. You can miss a little bit on the information side of that, uh, of the ritual, of the lessons, all that stuff. So taking your time, doing it at your pace, nothing wrong with that.
That's a relief to hear.
No, and that's the whole point, right? Was that we don't want our brothers to feel rushed. I mean, of course, we want to help you and we want to get you that next level, right? Because as you become a master mason, that's when you start receiving all the light that can be let to you. And but it's a journey. The journey is supposed to be meaningful to you, and it's not supposed to be a burden. It's supposed to be something to look forward to doing. And that's why I'm glad to hear that nobody's pushing, pressuring. They're checking in, right? Just say, hey, how are we looking? Where are you standing? Now, I would have to say, though, God rest his soul. If Worshipful Harv was here, he might be pushing a little bit, but that's just that
He
was just Harv.
was a tiny bit. He was a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
there were fun study sessions. I
But
remember.
very, very old school, Mason, been through so much, right? I know after he passed, it was kind of sad. And this is the reason why I like this podcast is after he passed, I learned so much more about him. I got to know his history and his whole all the through. And I was just like, a little saddened by that because didn't have the opportunity to really get to know the guy. I got to know the Harv from our lodge and what little experiences we had, but there was so much to his story that, and that's why we're one of the main reasons why we're doing this podcast is to capture people's stories as well, right? Not just to talk about masonry, but to get to know our brothers.
And for our brothers to get to know our brothers, it's like
Yeah,
because we have brothers that are all over the country that are still members of our lodge, and this is a way for them, one to get to know you, and maybe if they sometimes they come back to our area, and if they see you, they'll be like, oh, hey, I remember you from the podcast, and it's a great way for to break the ice and start a conversation.
100%. It
So
seemed make friends too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
that's one of the things I love about masonry, right? Is meeting people that most likely would never met on my own. Right? You run into so many different people from so many different walks of life. Um, and it's really cool. And as I was going through the line and going to different events, wardens retreats, leadership retreats, just whatever, just meeting all kinds of brothers and try to bounce around to different degrees to go to different lodges, uh, which is I highly recommend anybody that can. Curtis, if you're interested too, like you want to go check out an apprentice degree, let us know. We can get you there. So
100%.
Yeah, it's great because like you might be, you know, like you can go somewhere, and if you happen to be wearing something that's got a Masonic symbol on it, out of nowhere you might get somebody coming up to you, hey brother, how you doing? And then it's just like, oh hey, what lodge are you from? And then the conversation starts. It's just like it's amazing, and it's just like you're already on the level with somebody, and it's just it's another talking point, and you already had. It's like you already have a friend somewhere
Oh
that
yeah,
you
I think
didn't
that's
even
one
know you
thing.
had.
That's one thing I really enjoy about it too is the brotherhood. It's very similar to the military as well. A lot of people brotherhood. It's one thing that like people when they get out, for example, they remember that. I think that's one thing I like too is just talking to people with the same mindset. Same similarities. Because other than that, I am typically very introverted, so I don't really talk to strangers, I guess you could say. But if we have something in common, then that it kind of goes from there, and I can actually talk to them. It helps me too get better at socializing.
Mm,
I really enjoy it.
absolutely, and it's like it's. I think in one of our lectures, we talk about talking to people we wouldn't normally talk to,
Hmm.
right? And it's just great to be able to talk to people that you know we wouldn't normally talk to. It's like, hey, you know what? We we have brothers everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, and
Well, that's
it's
a great
it's
see this symbol. You got somebody you can confide in, you can talk to, you can reach out to, in many cities throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world. I mean, you know, it is a universal symbol, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I love when I drive into different towns, different cities, and you see the welcome sign
yeah.
there, the
Hmm.
square and compass, and so it's like, hey, there's a lodge nearby. There's somebody I can stop and talk to if I need anything, or if I just want to check in. You know.
Hmm.
So
So
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
What are some of the things that you're hoping to get out of masonry?
As I previously mentioned, the brotherhood, but mostly mentorship and guidance, kind of in life. And I do also want to give back to my community. I like helping out, with everything as much as I can. It kind of just, I guess you could say, brings me peace. If that makes sense, somewhat like that, I
Nice.
guess. Just a lot more reasons. Like, there's a lot to name off, but those are the main reasons. Like I guess charity. Just giving back to my community, helping those who, I guess, sometimes can't help themselves as well.
But there's a lot of lessons to be learned through doing that, right? And that's the
Yes.
great thing. You can help other people and help yourself at the same time. You can continue to grow as a Mason, as a person, as a member of the community, and get to help others. And that's why, one of the things I love about it is when we get to reach out and support somebody, or a family, a friend, at the city itself, first responders, whoever we can get involved with. So, and there's always a lesson learned in there somewhere.
And the lessons are there's many of them, and you learn them differently,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody will pick something different from it. You may see something one way, and somebody will see something another way.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about them and you compare notes, it's just like, oh man, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't look at it from that perspective, right? And that's one of the trainings we started in, or not should say started, but we were doing in my year. I know the next master plans on continuing on with his year is going through and walking through the degrees. And it was interesting. We were just talking about the symbols from the tracing board and listening to people's different perspectives. Some of it was everybody was on the same page. This was, but some of them they gathered a little bit of different angle on it. It was really, it's always cool to hear those different ideas. Yeah. And I don't think, did you make the EA one, Curtis? I don't recall you
I don't.
were
I
there.
don't believe I was able to. No.
Well, and we'll probably get to circle back and do these again. I'm hoping. Little poke to worshipful Alex Sanchez, but because I thought they went really well and it was an engaging conversation. And so you keep an eye on those emails, right? You see those and try to make those ones if you can. I know your schedule's quite hectic, but if you can get freed up, they're
After
they're,
the
they're a good little.
holidays, it should be opening up. I think it's with everything going
Nice.
on and then the holidays because now I have to start doing traffic control, and that's like just extra stuff, just unnecessary extra stuff. It's like you know.
That's life, man. Life
Mhm.
Yeah.
is, life keeps us busy. And
Yeah. Yeah. The beauty of this is that it's, you know what, we work at your pace. It's not you at our pace, right? So you should never feel rushed. Don't feel any pressure about anything. It's, you know what, family and life always comes first, and you know what, when you get to when you can get it done, you'll get it done. Because if you don't do it, if you don't put the proper time into it, and you don't put your heart into it, and if it's not there, you're not going to get the most out of it,
Mhm.
right?
Well,
So
it used to be that there was a progression time as a Mason. I think it was it 7 years, Jeff? I'm trying to remember, but it used to be you had to be
yeah,
an inner apprentice for such amount of time, and fellow craft for such amount of time before you could become
yeah.
a master Mason.
Well, I think in Europe they still do that.
Hmm.
I remember seeing a documentary on that, and they required us like I think it's a long time. I think it's like a couple years.
Oh
It's a
wow.
long, yeah. I remember it might not have been 7, but I know it's pretty long.
Yeah,
Well, and that's they. I know a lot of Europeans refer to us as microwave Masons. You know, put us in, nuke it, and all of a sudden we're master Mason. It's like so.
Wow.
I always encourage people to take your time, learn from. I don't want to say my mistake because I've learned a lot, but I could have gathered a lot more. Right? Patience being one of the biggest virtues to kind of take from this is just learn, learn at your pace, gather what you want from it, and soak up all the knowledge, right? That's out there because there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot to understand. I mean, the I know you're working with Worshipful Joe Friedson, is helping you coach and things like that. So, you know, he's been on here before, and you can tell he knows the history of what we're doing, and he'll explain that to you, right? And then not just the words, but you start getting the history and what the
Hmm.
lessons really are to learn. And so,
He's very knowledgeable.
yep,
And
that's take
give
that
me
time and absorb it.
like history lessons in between. I'm like, wow, he
Mm-hmm.
knows so much.
Well, that was one of the things I loved about him training Larry and I as well. Was Larry and I were just trying to get through it. Just wanted to become master masons so we can become Shriners and Scottish Rite and York Rite. And he's like, hold on. You might practice short form lecture, but you're gonna learn the entire thing. So, and we walked through it and discussed it, and and if he wasn't happy, he didn't stamp off on us.
No, absolutely.
So now, what are you looking forward to most about the next degree?
A lot of stuff. Probably besides the fact getting your degree, just the lessons, excitement because like I said, I kept myself in the dark through everything. So I'm really excited to learn new things and just improve myself overall. And it's one step closer to being able to, I guess, contribute more. I could say as well.
Mm-hmm.
Making
Has
contributions.
Has Worshipful Friedson brought up anything about the next degree? It's kind of described it at all. What's coming up?
He might have. I don't really know too much, honestly. So I
Okay.
don't think he went into any detail really.
I'm not going to go into too much detail, obviously, because this is a public podcast. But one of the things that you're going to experience is what's called the staircase lecture, and I tell you what, that lecture, I love that lecture.
yeah,
As an entered apprentice, you learn what it is to be a mason. Um, in the lecture, it's going to be a lot for you to take in because you're going through it.
Mhm.
But I get something out of it darn near every time I
hmm
hear a lecture, and there's just always like little reminders. So it's great. Um, so when you do it the first time, obviously it's always it's a lot, but you're going to want to circle back on it, and it's a beautiful lecture. It actually
I
is
look
one of
forward
my
to it.
favorite degrees.
yeah. I agree with you 100%. There's a lot there, and that's probably one of my favorite lectures too. And I think a lot of people say the same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
when you ask people like, "What's your favorite lecture?" A lot of people are going to say it's the staircase because there's a lot of information there. So you got something definitely to look forward to.
I guess you got me a little more excited now. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's like I said, you'll enjoy it when it's done. It's done proud. Oh, it's being the guy who's done the lecture on both sides. The other thing that I liked about having to learn that lecture was force me to understand it even more. So I tell everybody, even if you're not going to be an officer, just read it, study it, understand it. Oh man, It's impactful.
How do you feel about the ritual? Are you more do you get into the ritual type stuff, or are you just more of kind of a service type person?
Right now, I kind of don't fully know where I stand because I mean I am I guess I'm still EA, so I'm kind of trying to figure out everything. But the
Hmm.
rituals, like I said, I don't know anything. I kept myself in the dark. I am excited to learn those too, but I do like to also, as mentioned, service as well. This is something I like to do. Honestly,
Hmm.
just kind of both. That's a cliche answer, but I look forward to all of it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, this is why we wanted to talk to an inner apprentice, right? Because talking to a master mason, they've seen the journey, they've been through it, you know, and we wanted to get kind of a fresh perspective from ground up. So, we are, if you're all right with it, we do plan on kind of following along with you as you progress forward. So once you do become
Absolutely.
a craft, we'll circle back and check in with you again on it as well.
Like reflecting. No, absolutely. I look forward to that.
So, yeah, that's it should be making fun, right? You watch it progress with the podcast. And like Brother Jeff Joe just said, it allows our other brothers who are remote, long distance, to kind of see what's going on and kind of follow along as well. So hopefully making it entertaining for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you were going through the initiation, you're walking around, you're doing your thing. I mean, what were some of the thoughts going through your head at that time?
I'm trying to remember. What was I thinking? I was worried about my ankle a little bit. I don't know if you remember. My ankle was freshly kind of broken. I
Gotcha.
think I
Right.
mentioned, yeah, I was like, my ankle is technically broken. Hopefully, I don't like misstep and then embarrass myself. I was embarrassed about that. So I was really, trying to be careful walking.
Yeah.
I think that was the
Got
most prominent thought I had.
it. Well, unfortunately, that might have taken away from some of the other experiences. But when you go
But
back and
other
watch
than
them,
that, yeah.
you'll pick it up. So uh, we got to get you to well, looking ahead at our lodge, we're gonna have
Mhm.
some degrees coming up. So next year is proven to be pretty interesting as far as candidates go.
Yeah.
So it'll give you an opportunity to see some initiations from new candidates, and it's a great time to go if you can get there. You try
That'd be
to,
amazing.
because you get to see it and experience it again and kind of reflect on where you were at that time, and it sets it in, right? And for us, again, just another reminder of who we are, what we're doing,
Yep.
and that's why I love the. I haven't sat on the sidelines for a long time, other than going to some other lodges. So, but it's going to be interesting to sit on the sidelines as I step down from the east and get to watch these degrees again. But I always tell people being a sideliner is more than just showing up to support the brother, the new candidate. It's a good time to reflect on your training as well, and where you at, and remind you of what we're doing, who we are. So
And
always
if you'd like, I might I have the guy that got me into masonry. His son may be he just petitioned to join, so he may be hopefully getting initiated in another lodge. So if you're interested, if he if he does get in, once that point comes, I can let you know, and then maybe if you'd like to go see how another lodge does it as well, because each lodge has their own different nuances. So it's kind of cool to see other lodges do it. So I could let you know when that happens too. And then
Absolutely.
it's kind of it's just the more you get to see of the degree, it also helps you with your proficiency as well, because it kind of cements it cements it in your mind of what you need to memorize, right? I mean, it kind of helps me. Like, the more I saw it, the more I remembered stuff. Because I did the long form for each of mine, and it's just, oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. It's like, certain things. It's just I kind of keyed off of that to remember for my proficiency. So just more aids to help. That's all. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can reach out to you when if and when the time comes.
Sounds good. I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
well. And on that note, though, too, I was going to save this for the end, but Morning Star out of Stockton, their lodge is having an entered apprentice degree on the 11th of December at 6 p.m. It looks like. So it's in Stockton, but something
That's like about
if you're
an hour from
yeah
Sacramento. Huh? Oh, I know where that
yeah
is. It's by
just an hour difference
Tracy.
in traffic, but it's something to consider. But that's also anybody that might be interested or happens to be in the area, that would be a good degree to catch.
I'll have to put that on the calendar.
Yeah, no, they got two degrees actually. They got a fellowcraft degree the day before, or excuse me, they got the fellowcraft in January,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and then for us, just since we're on this topic, for us, we have Jonathan Godbout's uh, Master Mason degree coming up too in January. More details on that as we lock things down.
That'll be a fun one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know his dad's excited about it too.
Just a little.
So Curtis,
So,
when your degree was completed, you've done it, you did your obligation, you walked through, you said your stuff. How'd you feel at the end?
After everything, I felt like I guess you could say I felt very satisfied. My a lot of the stuff was hard to remember. It was a lot of information to take in at once. I remember that. I was
yeah.
like, I was like, am I going to remember all of this at all? Obviously, I did not. But I felt I guess also at peace because I was like, I I did it. I got initiated. Pretty big stepping stone into the whole journey. So I'm glad I got to do that.
And like you said, it is a lot of information, right? Your
Mhm.
degree is. And that's why we have our coaching sessions afterwards, because it's so much information. You're not going to absorb it. I mean, unless you have an eidetic memory, you're not going to be able to take all that information in one time. So you continue on with your lessons, right? And that's when it starts to kind of solidify, lock in.
Yeah.
I know Worshipful Harv was working with you quite a bit, after you got your degree. Was there anything that he taught you that really kind of stuck out for you, that's going to be like, that's going to stick with you?
Remember everything he's said to me. 'Cause he said quite a bit.
Yeah,
hmm.
he was a wealth of knowledge. I know that for sure. He knew a lot.
Well, he knew a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd give me
Lived
advice.
long before us. So
One thing he did tell me was I think because I told him. He told me not to, I guess, overthink so much. So because he told me that I try not to overthink things. I tend to do that sometimes. He was saying it's not the best habit, and I was like, I agree. And it's something I need to work on myself. So he kind of did cement that into my head a little bit. So I try not to
Nice.
overthink things now, just in life in general. Not just related to masonry, but just everything in general.
but again, it shows you how it ties in, right? The lessons
Mhm.
of a Mason tie into the lessons of life, and so and they're just different ways of looking at things and slowing you down and having you reflect on a way that you hadn't previously, right?
Yeah, that ties into more things in life than one can imagine. That's for sure. Not just in masonry. So,
Like everything, just in general.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, when you were in the military, what was your specialty?
Oh, that's quite a story. So I'm still in. I'm not active duty anymore. I have a 6-year contract. So because I'm reservist, I get out in August of 2027. My intended MOS, my job was I'm in the Marine Corps, was 0311, which is rifleman, infantry rifleman. I was supposed to go active duty. I had a bunch of family stuff happen. So for personal reasons, I had to change my contract to go reservist to kind of help with my mother. So, I did that because a lot of, family stuff happened. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna leave her at a time like this. So I will just go do my training, then I'll get stationed, maybe somewhere close by. In the schoolhouse, after boot camp, it turns out my recruiter changed my contract. I was supposed to be, just 0311. I walked into the recruiting office doing about like 25 to 30 pull-ups, and that was more than a lot of the other people there trying to join. So he changed it to reconnaissance without me really knowing. So I went to boot camp. I went to School of Infantry, found out my job was an 0326, which is like a combat parachute diveman. And I was like, oh, that's recon. I didn't not pick that because I'm a terrible swimmer, and you have to swim a lot. So I went to infantry training battalion. I did the first half, and then they sent all the people with the recon contract or whatever, or even people wanted to just try out to for recon training. Marines awaiting recon training, marked. So you're kind of waiting to pick up with a company. I stayed for a bit. I trained a little bit, and then I requested to drop because it's about 2 years of just straight training. I did not really want to do all that, and I didn't want to I didn't want to mess up something and just get dropped, even if I make it far along, because then that's kind of time wasted. So I requested a drop, and because they typically put you back into infantry, I did. I dropped. I picked back up with another company to finish the second half of ITB as an 0311. Like about 1 week from graduation, I was doing great. I was passing all the events, and then they kind of just, because of paperwork, pulled me. Like literally from the field, they called in Madrid, and I was like, huh? And I go to the instructors like, hey, you're getting reclassed. I was like, what? Like, did you fail anything? I was like, no. And they reclassed me. I had to get another job as a maintenance management person. Like I order parts technically. It's my billet. And then they sent me to North Carolina for about like 3 months to learn that job. And so I'm here now. And my unit's in Lathrop. It's kind of near Stockton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, at least it's close, and at least and you're there to you can help help with your mom and take care of the family.
Yeah.
So that's important. So
I
You
was
planning on re-upping, or you gonna?
re-upping. I don't know. I've thought about it because I finally promoted. I'm corporal. I finally got promoted 4 years later. So it's like, okay, well, that kind of gives me a little bit more motivation, maybe to either stay in and change jobs, maybe, or if I want to maybe move to another branch and finish off. I've thought about going with Army, military police. I'm not fully sure what I want to do yet because I am kind of more focused on my civilian job now, what I'm trying to do here. So I'm not totally sure. If were to re up, I would go active, but I don't know if I'm fully, I kind of want to give back, do stuff here. Kind of in the
What are you doing? You said you had a full-time job. What do you got going on there?
right now, just security, private security. It's pretty simple. It's just very busy, and the company I work for is pretty small. It's one guy, two guys own it, so it's called CCAT. Um, it's a fun job. I We don't really have many contracts right now, though. We're regarding the Sacramento Co-op store in downtown Sacramento, and the one in Davis, which is where I'm going to be working later today for the first time. Actually, I'm in Sacramento typically, and kind of trying to maybe move up from there eventually, hopefully soon.
awesome. That sounds like a good stepping stone and
Mm-hmm.
move in the right direction to bigger and better things for sure.
100%.
How long do you have until you need to make a decision on what you want to do with respect to the future of your military career?
Probably about maybe 1 year before you get out. So probably next year, I think that's when they kind of start asking, would you like to re-up, or even if you're eligible. But most people are eligible. It's only if you have like bad conduct or something, negative paperwork, then that's when you can't re-up. But I don't have any of that, so I would
Well,
only probably re-up, to be honest, if I would surely like pick up sergeant. That would motivate me a lot. So that's like the next promotion, but that's going to be it. I just got promoted corporal, so that's going to be quite a bit of a time if I were to do that.
you could always negotiate. I mean, it's your
That's true.
contract, your life, your years. So
That's true.
it never hurts to ask, right? Don't tell them. I would tell my guys, don't tell other people no for them. Let
You
them
talk
say
to
it.
the right people, yeah.
Find out. Ask. I remember when I was in, they wanted to find out what it was going to take for me to re-up, and I gave them my list, and they're like, "Well, this is what we do for you," and I'm like, "Oh, no, this is not a negotiation. That's what I wanted.
A
This is what
list.
here it is. I don't get it. I'm out. Guess what? Navy they didn't care. I'm out.
Oh,
Well, now you're getting ready to become fellow craft. You're working your way towards that, right?
yes.
So, how is it looking? How do you think you fare with your trainings and things like that? Do you think it's going to be coming up pretty soon, or you think
I would say
2025, 2026, or
I would
2020?
say I'd say pretty soon. I think it's just me with my time management and scheduling for me to reach out.
But like I said, man, that's the whole journey. And the nice thing is, though, too, is Worshipful Friedsen's there as the coach to help, but we're all here too. So if we can help out in other ways, I remember when I was going through my degrees, I couldn't always get, Joe's got other people to teach and work with and things like that. So I couldn't always get him hold of them. And I get stuck on a word or something like that, right? Trying to memorize these things and just call brother and boom, and inevitably, like Joe would call like 2 seconds later. but yeah, that's the other thing, is to be able to reach out to different brothers and kind of get look at it, talk to them about different things too. So that door is always open. The officers of the lodge are always around to help, hopefully. And I mean, I know I encourage it. I know I like to do it, and
I'm available if needed. Mm-hmm. So and I work crazy hours, but I'm available in the afternoon. So
everybody's got different hours and different perspectives. So there's almost somebody available 24/7.
Yeah. Is there anything that you any speed bumps or anything that you see that could could slow you down or anything? Or I mean,
slow me down? I don't think so. No.
Are you? How close are you how close do you think you are for your I want to say qualification, but for proficiency? Sorry, yeah, your proficiency for your fellowcraft to move up to fellowcraft.
I'd say maybe around 95%, 90% there. I'm pretty close.
Awesome. All right.
Are you doing short form or long form?
I have not decided yet. I could maybe do long form. Long form is just the whole thing kind of again. Huh?
Long form's good. I mean, and we like to, we'll tell a lot of the brothers too that if you have any interest at any time of joining the officers, maybe not even joining the line, but just if you do plan on joining the line, or just becoming an officer in general, long form's good because it helps you better understand what's going on. And you're more acquainted as you're getting ready to help out with the degrees, moving forward.
100%.
Short form is a nice opportunity for brothers with very hectic, busy schedules, because it allows them to continue on with their journey and kind of fit it in with their busy, hectic lives. Pros and cons to each one.
That makes sense.
If you're interested, what I could do is I could reach out to you the next time we have first degree officers practice. If you'd like to come and check it out, you can see what we do, and it also, you'll see what we do, and then it'll also help you remember some of the stuff, one, that you went through, and two, what's into proficiency too. So it'll kind of help cement that, and you might learn a few things along the way too.
That's a good thing for inter apprentices, fellowcrafts, even master masons, when they are going through the degrees. If they can come into an officer's training, officer school of instruction, and of that degree, always a good idea, because you will get something out of it.
100%.
Yeah, the more you expose yourself to anything of that degree, you're gonna learn something. Whether it be something really small to something that, like, you could be totally blown away by the time you leave. Like, oh my God, I didn't even realize they do that. It's just, it's really cool. And it's just, I mean, to me, it's like, I learned something almost pretty much almost every time I step into like an OSI or something. It's like, and it's like, you never realize it could be the smallest thing, and it's just like, man, okay, I never thought about that. Or you could be sitting next to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, you know what, I do this all the time to remember that. And it's just like, oh man, okay, now I'm gonna do that. Just it's just the smallest thing can help.
Well, at this point, I think we get you ready. We help you get there, because that's gonna be the next step, right? And again, like I said, want to circle back with you when you do get your fellowcraft, and we can talk about that next step. And now that you've seen what an intern apprentice degree looks like, you're probably going to be trying a little even harder now to try to listen in on the fellowcraft degree, right? But again, it's a lot of information, so don't get overwhelmed. Just enjoy it, trust the brothers, enjoy the journey, and that's the key here. So, and then hopefully we'll see that. It would be fun to see that in 26 coming up. So.
Absolutely.
But if it ends up being 27, 28, whatever, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I know of a brother. He was an apprentice for 35 years. So yeah, but you know what though? He loved coming to Lodge so much. He wasn't really focused on moving up. He just loved his brothers and being here. So it's at your own pace. So
at your own pace, at your own free will and accord. Those are all the key little things, right?
Yeah.
Well, Curtis, I just want to say thank you for taking time to join us today. Appreciate it. I know you've got a hectic schedule, so we're not going to keep you too much longer, especially since you got to work. But
yeah,
like I said, we'll circle back with you, pick up another date, and go from there. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me as well.
yeah.
That's why I really had to make time for this. I was like, I've been interested in this for the last few weeks. It's just my job,
Nope, totally understandable.
Yep.
The nice thing about this one, as you are showing, is we can do this podcast from just about anywhere. It's don't have to be at home or the office or anything like that. So appreciate your flexibility and taking the opportunity. Going back to what I was saying earlier, just looking ahead at some of the degrees coming up. Morningstar does have 2 degrees, one on the 11th of December, 6 p.m. For an apprentice, and then on January 10th, they have a fellowcraft degree as well. And that one looks like it's going to that's a 1 p.m. one. So I have to look at that. I guess January 10th, is that a Saturday?
Let me take a look.
I'll look at my calendar. Yeah,
January 10th is a Saturday. Yes.
Oh, interesting. I like those weekend degrees, and sometimes a little more flexibility to get in there. So I do want to mention to our listeners that if you have something you want to put out here, or you got events coming up that you'd like us to kind of promote, feel free to reach out to us. We'll take those opportunities and reach out to who we can.
Oh, and also don't forget we got our holiday. Natoma's got their holiday party.
Oh yeah. Yep, we got our holiday party dinner coming up. My final stated meeting is going to be on December 4th, and that's going to be a nice dinner, if I might say so. My junior warden, senior warden elect Jeff Joe has been working hard to get this thing together, and it's going to be a nice catered dinner through Hannibal's. And then, of course, on December 6th, now it's noon. It's got moved to noon. Is the 173rd?
72nd.
172nd installation officers. Yeah, I can count. Numbers are hard. Installation of officers. And so that's open to the public. If you're interested and want to check it out, come in. It's fun to see. And, of course, got to see who our 2026 officers are. And we can get an idea of what's going on. And that being said, Brother Jeff Joe and I do plan on having Worshipful-elect Pedro Sanchez on here at one point here soon to kind of discuss his year coming up. Some of the other podcasts we have coming up here, we got to have a visit from one of our Rainbow Girls in December.
Yep.
We're also working on getting our AGL in here, Jairo Gomez, and then I know we got our inspector, Scott Morrison, lined up as well. So a few more things coming down the pipeline here pretty soon. We're going to be a little active on the podcast side here.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So it'll be fun. So, all right, Curtis. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you to everybody who's watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed doing it. So.
Please,
of course.
everybody have a blessed and safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your friends, family. If you're just having to be out there, just have a great, safe holiday.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, brothers. Happy holidays.
Thank you.